Join me as I take this kind of everyday simple dresser that I was able to get for free on Facebook Marketplace and turning into something elegant. So this is a very common style. They've changed the pulls and they are super tiny. You can barely get your fingers in there. But this dresser was free probably because it has lots of dents and dings and they were having trouble selling it. So they decided to just give it away before they end up throwing it out. And that's when I love picking these up. So come along as I make a big change. I'm Shireen with Olive Street Designs, and I'm showing the process of furniture refinishing so you can learn too. Be sure to subscribe and follow for more. So let's dive into this. First thing I always want to do is take off all this hardware. Again, these are super tiny and I can barely get my fingers in there. So this was like a one finger pull. Those have got to go. But I really want to give this a good cleaning. Over the years, furniture just gets built up from our hands and furniture polish and cleansers and all the things we put on them. So I want to make sure and clean that up first. And then I'm going to start doing scuff sanding. There's not a lot to repair here, but I do need to make sure that I sand the entire surface for proper adhesion. It also helps to get rid of any surface scratches, small dings, things like that. So I'm using my Surf Prep sander here. You could use an Orbital if you'd like. This is 120 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to just cover every surface. And right now I've just got regular traditional sandpaper, and then you can see I'm switching to this interface pad to do the edges and curves. This pad just helps to do it without flattening out the surface. So I do all the flat parts first, and then I switch to the pad. So I've got the entire dresser now sanded, just taking a barely damp microfiber towel and getting everything dusted so that I can go in and prime. So I'm using a Sticks primer here. This is my favorite primer. Of course, with my sprayer, this makes quick work of this. Within just a few minutes, I have the whole thing primed. You know, the design plan on this was just to make it something a little more modern and elegant than the everyday dresser, because this is a very common style. I always sand in between coats. Again, I dust it with that microfiber towel that's just barely damp. And I'm doing this so that it really just knocks down any type of texture that was left over from the sprayer. This will help provide a really smooth surface for my paint. And here we go with green. I thought this would be a really pretty color for this style. Something that's simple but still different than the norm, because you usually just see these stained. And since this wasn't the type of dresser that I would strip down and restain, I thought this would be kind of a fun color. You'll notice when I'm painting here with the sprayer that I'm overlapping every layer. That helps to make sure I get an even coat. Taking a little poly brush in between coats just to touch up those edges of the drawers, because I do paint with the drawers in, but then I need to go back and touch up the edges since those are tucked away in the cabinet and the sprayer doesn't reach it. But a little poly brush here with the paint, and that just makes pretty quick work of this, but it helps to keep the inside of my dresser spotless clean. I don't want paint all over the drawer guides or in my drawers, and I don't want to have to mask off every single drawer and then the inside of the cabinet. So here we go with another coat. Actually, I did another coat of paint, and this is Topcoat. I can tell by the way I'm spraying that it's Topcoat, because Topcoat has a really wide path out of my sprayer. Get that nice and protected. After everything dries, I want to update the hardware. Again, we're into these tiny little pulls, but that means that spread on those holes was only 3 inches. And because this was kind of a quick makeover, I didn't Bondo and refill and re-drill and all of that. I decided I was going to use adjustable pulls. Well, these are pretty cool because you really can make them any width. And what it is, the heads of the screws just go into this little trough here, and so you can move them all around. You put that into your dresser, and then there's nuts that go on the other side that help secure them. Great design. These are super modern looking, and I love that you can quickly change something out. Look at the change. So let's revisit where we started. And here we are now. I hope you like the new modern, sleek design. Sometimes you can really make a big change without having to do a ton of work. This was a totally different dresser now, and I know it'll be loved for many years to come.